Hello and welcome back to the channel after what feels like forever. It's been a couple of years well, nearly a couple of years anyway, and it's all been down to just how busy we've been. In this time we've got a new workshop, and the old workshop is now this space, the studio, and so with that in mind, videos should be coming thick and fast now. We've already got shorts out and a load edited to come out over the next coming months and hopefully forevermore. But in the meantime, welcome back to the channel, which is the old channel. But technically it's the new channel. It's the new version of the old channel, but it's still the same channel. It's still LT Custom Guitars. But as well as looking at the LT guitars, we will also be looking at other guitars, amps, pedals, digital stuff, all sorts. Basically, we're trying to make this a bit more all guitar and guitar stuff friendly channel, so hopefully you get a lot more out of it. So with that in mind, we were sort of like, where do we start with this? And chatting to Charlie from Orange, and it just came up that amongst all the really nice amps I have and have had over the years, there's one that I still use from time to time because I can't let go of it. It's addictive in a strange way, or maybe I just can't work out why I can't let go of it. And I think, even though Orange still make it, that it's vastly underrated and overlooked, because sometimes, most of the time, you think of Orange, you think of maybe the Rockaverbs, now the Oriverb as well, Thunderverbs, AD200s if you're a bass player, and that's fair enough. But this thing is the AD30, the Twin Channel version. Now this is the combo. They still make the head, they don't make the combo anymore as far as I can see on the website. But I was saying to Charlie that there's something about it, because yeah, I do hang on to a lot of amps, but I also shift some amps on, and every time I go, do you know what, I'll move the Orange on, I just have one more play through it. I do, and then I can't bring myself, I think it just sounds too good. I can't shift it. Now, I've owned this amp from new in 2010 or 11, I can't quite remember exactly when. And it's been an absolute workhorse for me. It's done countless gigs since then. It's still here. Many other amps in that time have come and gone. And I'm just trying to work out why, and I just think it's just a pure tone machine. Because of the flashy Rockaverbs and things like that. A lot of people overlook this, and I think it deserves more of a look in, because I think it does more than people think. You just sort of have to go into it without any preconceptions. So basically the spec is pretty standard. There's 4 ECC83 preamp valves. Now I think because you've got 2 independent EQs, one for each channel 1, channel 2, and I think what they've done is they've split it so you've got 2 preamp valves per channel. And then they say that the channels are voiced slightly differently. They are, I will show that in a second. Channel 1 seems slightly warmer, channel 2 seems slightly more gnarly, with a touch more gain, but this could be all to do with frequencies. The other thing it could be to do with having a bit more gain is where exactly you put the tone stack in relation to the preamp valves. And if I had a white coat at this time, I'd put it on and we'd talk all about it, but I don't. Maybe I'll get one. So yeah, those 2 preamp valves per channel. Then there is the EL84 power amp valves. There's 4 of them. And that's pretty cool because they're fairly unique. They're not unique, but they're fairly unique in their fan in things like Vox, some matchless, things like that. So they're known for like their chime and dime or whatever you want to call it. I actually think this is a lot warmer than what some people would expect in terms of an EL84 flavoured amp. So the other thing to mention is with the quad EL84s is that it's 30 watts. Funny enough, the AD30 is 30 watts. Some people, you know who you are, don't believe 30 watts is enough, and I can tell you 30 watts is plenty. That is technically somewhere around half as loud as a 300 watt amp if you work out the decibel thing. Again, don't have white coat, but if I did, put it on, would work it out together. I have also, in my time of owning this amp, I have also actually run a decibel meter next to it and basically run up through the gain and the volume. We got to 122.7 decibels. So if you want to look up the decibel chart, if you stood right next to a police siren, and you know how loud they can be when they drive past you. If you stood right next to one of them, they are around 120 decibels. If you stood behind a jumbo jet taking off or something like that, I think, or a jet engine, sorry, I believe that's about 130. So not bad for this tiny little package. 122.7 decibels. I've tested it. It's on YouTube somewhere on another channel, and other amps struggled to get near that. So it's a very efficient power section, maybe with the V30s in there as well. Some issues that people sometimes have with this amp, issues or gripe rather, is the lack of effects loop. And I remember reading something online that Aid from Orange said that one could be put in, and I think there may have been the odd one or two that had them in, but it alters the sound. And again, if you white coat time. If you want to start putting stuff like that in and reverb on the amps, things like that, you've got to get the power from somewhere or the signal from somewhere, and so you, generally speaking, have to put another preamp tube in, and it alters the sound. So or the signal, however you want to say it, it alters it. So which is why he didn't do it. Now, like I say, I've gigged this for well over 12 years or something like that, and I just ran delays in front of it and reverbs in front of it, and it sounded fine to me. So maybe we'll just do a quick clip with some reverb. Some people find that an issue, some people don't. The other thing you can whack in front of it is, of course, a boost. And again, I know that there is a pedal related show somewhere out here that tend to run a lot of pedals in the front end anyway. So it's not the end of the world. Yes, it may not sound as good as through a buffered effects loop, but it does still work. So again, I'm trying to rack my brain as to why I just can't get rid of this amp. It's that pure valve grit and warmth, and just sort of how responsive something like this without reverb is. It just, every time I play it, it's thicker than I imagine when I'm doing riffs and things like that. There is plenty of gain on tap for me, because remember, sometimes you think you need more gain, you actually need more signal. Conversation for a different day. It's built like a tank, as with most Orange things. There is a reason when you go and see a lot of bands, they tend to have orange cabs and things like that, because they are, along with cockroaches, one of the things that will survive a nuclear war. I guarantee you, if I threw this down the steps in my house, it would do more damage to the steps than it would to this thing, because this is heavy. Head isn't obviously quite as heavy, and actually now that we're running in a studio, a head would actually be more beneficial, I think. But for me, I love it, and yes, I don't use it as often as I should, although now we're set up I probably will, but it's not going anywhere. So I definitely think if you're looking for a pure valve rock machine that'll do from the cleans to the broken ups to the, you know, pretty decent distortion in fairness without putting anything in front of it, just as it is, you'd do worse than to look for an AD30. I think Orange really got it right here, and they're worth a punt. Yeah, they don't do everything, but what they do, they do well. Do they? Yes. And with that in mind, I think we'll leave that there, because I could just talk all day. And as my old friend used to say, who we dearly miss, you take good care, and we'll see you soon.